Hey guys, in this video, I'll be tackling a common question that puzzles many real estate investors that are setting up LLCs, and that is where to set up a bank account for an out-of-state limited liability company. Listen, I get it. Navigating the world can be complex when it comes to banking, especially when your LLC is set up out of state. Because the questions come up is, do you need an out-of-state bank account? Or will setting up an LLC in your home state blow your LLC's protections? Well, I'm going to break this down for you and explain how to deal with the bankers when getting your LLC account set up and which types of banks you should be looking at. All right, let's get started. Okay, so let's assume now that I live in Washington State and I'm going to set up an LLC for my property that is located in, I don't know, pick a state, California, for instance. Well, let's not go California because I would never invest in California because of that state and its laws. Let's choose a better state. Let's say Texas. So I'm going to set up a Texas limited liability company to hold my Texas property. So I get this Texas LLC set up, but then it comes time to opening up that bank account. And someone says, well, if it's a Texas LLC, you have to have a Texas bank on that LLC in order to get the account open. Well, that is just not accurate. I've opened up multiple LLCs all over the country, and I've never had to go into that state to set up a bank account. I've set up a lot of Wyoming LLCs for my own planning. I've never had to go to Wyoming to set up a bank account there. You can actually establish your bank account in your home state if you know what to say and who to talk to. So you have two different ways in which you can get your account open. Number one, which I think is the easiest way to go when it comes to opening up an account, is use an online bank. All right, so if you go online, there are a lot of banks out there that allow you to open up accounts. They don't have physical locations that you're going to go into, so maybe that poses a challenge for you, but it's much simpler to get that account open than going into your local Wells Fargo, Chase, or Bank of America and trying to get an account open for an out-of-state company. So that would be my first option. Use an online bank for your entity. The other aspect about using online banks that I like is because setting up the accounts can be relatively quick. It's easy. And if you have multiple LLCs, you can have multiple accounts set up with them, and it's just easy to move the money around with those institutions. Okay, so let's say that's not in the cards for you, that you need to set up an account locally because maybe your property manager still is in the 19th century where they have to send you a check and you need to walk it down and deposit. And you're just not comfortable taking a photo of the check and sending it into that online bank. Well, in that situation, then you're going to be looking at a local branch to open up your account. So now you can pick, hey, do you like Chase? Do you like Wells Fargo? Whatever it is, pick whatever branch you're most comfortable with. But know this, what I like to do in that situation, if I'm going with a bank, a local bank, a bigger bank like that, I'm going to choose one where I'm already personally banking. And the reason why I do that is I want to make sure that whatever bank account I create for my business right here, I'm going to make sure that's linked to my personal checking account. So I can move money back and forth between the business and my personal account online with my phone. So if I bank currently with US Bank, well, then I'm probably going to set up an account with US Bank for my business entities, that out-of-state entity. Now, when you go in to open up your account, there are some critical things you need to be aware of. Number one, all right, when you're going to go open that account, bring your documents with you. Right? Bring your operating agreement with you, bring your EIN letter with you, and bring your articles of organization. Those are three pieces of information they're probably going to ask for, so have that ready. Number two, when you go into the bank, always ask to speak to a business banker. I know how easy it is to walk into a local branch and there's somebody that's going to run right out and shake your hand and say, how can we help you today? My first question is, are you a business banker? Now they say, oh yes, we conduct business here. No, do you work with businesses opening up business accounts? Because that individual, the business banker, operates at a little different level than that local person that opens up personal accounts. So that's the second thing you got to look for. Or you have to do is find that business banker with that local bank. Now, the third thing that you need to be aware of, and this is where problems start to occur all the time with people who have out-of-state entities. So for example, right here, if I had an LLC set up in Texas, all right, and when I set up my LLC in Texas, I was provided with a virtual business address. Yeah, I got a video on virtual business address and how important they are to keep your information private from your tenants. You never want to put your personal address on an LLC. You always want to use a virtual business address. So if I live in Washington and I've set up a Texas LLC with a virtual business address, when I walk into the bank and I want to set up an account, they say, well, for what entity is this? I give them the name of my entity. It's Red Box LLC. It's a Texas LLC. And here's my virtual business address. And maybe it's a Texas address. All right. Immediately, you're going to run into a roadblock. Most institutions, when they see that, say, we cannot help you. Because in order to open up an account with us, you need to have a local address. Now, your account, your entity is in Texas, you're using a Texas address. We cannot do that because of bank routing numbers and whatever other reasons they want to come up with to block you. So here's what you say. This is the key thing. When you go into the banker and you start with that, start talking to them, you tell them, listen, I have a Texas entity. Here's its business address, but for purposes of opening up this account, I have a local address I'm using for this entity. Now, that local address many times could be your personal address. It could be a local business address that you have. Whatever the case may be, you have to give them that. So when they open up the account, they can say, oh, all right, well, this person lives in Washington. They're using their local Washington address on the account, but their business can still have that other business address associated with it. I've opened up multiple bank accounts here locally in Washington for out-of-state entities using this exact same technique. It doesn't have to be complicated. You just need to know what information they're going to be looking for, who to talk to. So if you want to stick with the big banks, the local banks, then that's what you need to do. Another thing to consider, maybe it's a credit union. A lot of times when you go to credit unions or community lenders, they will actually bend the rules and they're not as stringent when it comes to opening up the accounts. Maybe they'll let you use that virtual business address and then send you the statements to your personal address that you provide to them. It really depends. You got to shop around, figure out what works best for you, but go in armed with the right information, and I'm sure you'll be able to get your account opened up without any issues. Hey guys, if you liked the video, be sure to smash the like button. If you have friends that have LLCs and they've been struggling with this process, share the link. Let them know. Come watch this, and maybe it'll help them solve that problem. Take care.